Give him a chance. Kala, look at him. He will never be one of us.
What does it actually mean to be human? I mean, even with a growing population of 8 billion, no one has a sound definition. Is it the thumbs? Maybe it's our intelligence. Or maybe it's the compassion we sometimes show. I mean, even when you ask Google, what does it mean to be human? It gives you something about being the center of your own universe, but what does that mean? It could be our never-ending greed and the exploitation of our own planet, but deep down we know it's a mix of all that makes us human. Now you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with Tarzan? Well, I think the Disney movie about a man being raised by gorillas teaches us a great lesson of what it actually means to be human. Now, enjoy the video. The beginning scenes of this movie, to say at least, has the main core theme of the family dynamic. Like most living things that inhabit this earth, you were raised or taught by something of your species. And it may not seem like it, but this is one of humanity's biggest evolutionary tools. Naturally social beings, meaning that we are group orientated. It makes raising the young and surviving together very easy. Not to start the video off on a grim note, but death is a universal thing all living things must experience. Maybe you lost a friend, a cousin, a pet, or even your parents. And if you haven't, that's okay, because the sad truth is, it's inevitable. Between the ages 44 and 49, 26% of people have lost their mother, while 45% have lost their father. These circumstances are normal, but what isn't normal, yet even common, is the feeling of grief. Grief is the reasons why we have funerals and memorials. People used to think that grief was only a human thing, but elephants, dolphins, and even your dog can experience this. A common experience of grief is the death between a baby and a mother. And this is the beginning focus in Tarzan. You see, while Kala and Kerchak were sleeping, this happened. You see, when Tarzan's parents is killed by the leopard, he suffers his first loss, resulting in no direct guide to human nature. Another very great theme demonstrated in this movie is the unconditional love for a mother. In fact, when we first see Tarzan, he's being held in his mother's arms. On the other side, we see Kala nurturing her baby. Some people say your mother is your first love, your nurturer. A lot of people don't know, but a mother's unconditional love is actually kind of genetic. Hormones play a big role into fostering the bond between a mother and her baby. For example, prolactin, which is responsible for milk production during breastfeeding, also promotes bonding. Shows of Tarzan's parents dying, he lets off a scream. It's completely ignored by the other gorillas, but Kala catches it. I genuinely think this is a scream for help only a grieving mother could hear. When she first sees him, she's curious but intrigued. She notices his dead parents, and as soon as the leopard shows his face, without a hesitation, her motherly instincts kick in to protect a baby she has no relationship with. After they escape, she knows that she has to take care of him, because it's the right thing to do. Or maybe she's just trying to fill the hole in the heart for her lost child.
I mean, what the heck is it anyway?
He's a baby.
I like her response because even as a society, we have a soft spot for babies of all forms. It always reminds me of the question, would you kill baby Hitler? This was actually an experiment with 42% of people saying yes, while the rest believe that this is morally wrong because they're innocent.
Kala, look at it. It's not our kind.
This is where we see Tarzan's first taste of rejection from Kerchak. This is also the first step to know what it means to be human. People are naturally scared or spiteful to the unknown or the misunderstood, and at its core, it's a survival tactic. If you were a caveman and you heard a beast like roar miles away, you would naturally have the instinct to stay away, and for the ones who didn't, probably didn't get a chance to pass their bloodline down.
Yes, there are no others.
Then you may keep him.
By allowing Tarzan to stay, we see another good example of what it means to be human. Sympathy. When you feel bad for someone else who's going through something hard, it's also an evolutionary trait. It's why some animals leave their weak and injured to die, while some humans and animals take care of the weak and the disabled. We're later introduced to Turk, basically Tarzan's big sister. While a group of other gorillas are playing, Tarzan wants to play but he can't keep up. This makes perfect sense because he's not adapted to the jungle environment yet.
Wait up, guys! Wait up! Right behind you!
Can't.
Oh! Hi, guys.
Tarzan's so desperate for approval, he asks what does he have to do to hang out, and Turk has the idea he has to grab an elephant hair. Now of course, Turk in his right mind didn't believe Tarzan was actually going to do it, but Tarzan being so willing to never back down from a challenge, he literally jumps head first. Let's talk about risk. Some of us take risk every day, and some of us don't. Risk can be as simple as asking a crush out, medium as skydiving, or as extreme as eating a chili pepper. I use the pepper as an extreme example because most animals and insects stay away from peppers and spices. Yet humans indulge in these on a daily basis, and this is because a person took a risk. It had to take a human not scared of the consequences of dying while searching for a potential food source. I want you to imagine, where would human civilization be if we never took risk? What if we never ventured out of those caves, or never dove into the unknown? Why do we have the urge to explore what seems impossible? I say this because if Tarzan never took this first risk, he would never begin the process of his growth. This caused a crazy stampede and a baby almost died. Kerchak was not happy with this one bit.
Give him a chance. Kala, look at him. He will never be one of us.
Kerchak.
In result of this happening and hearing those harsh words from Kerchak, Tarzan decides to run away in frustration. The sad thing about this scene is that he starts to put mud on his face because he wants to be a gorilla, still curious on why he looks so different.
Oh, Kerchak said I didn't belong
Close your mouth.
Kerchak said I don't belong in the family.
Never mind what Kerchak said.
I guess the next big thing that makes us human is that we're all different, starting with your very fingertips. Did you know the human genome is estimated to have 20,000 to 25,000 different genes? It's why some of us are tall while others are short. Your skin may be darker or lighter than mine, or maybe you can grow facial hair while I struggle. But throughout all those differences, what makes us similar is what Kala states.
Hold still.
Look at me.
She tells him to listen to his heartbeat, then to listen to hers, and this is what makes us the same. I wish this was something we picked up in human history rather sooner than later, looking more to judge of where we are on the inside rather than where we come from or our characteristics on the outside.
I'll make them see it. I'll be the best ape ever.
Oh, I bet you will.
Watching Tarzan adapt to the jungle in his own way put a good smile on my face. He can't truly be an ape, but he can figure out what works for him. The way he does this is by watching other animals around him. He figured out how to make a spear to better catch with fruits. One of human civilization's greatest discoveries, by the way. A lot of people don't know, but a lot of the tools we use today are from watching animals. For example, Velcro was inspired by the hooks found on birds that cling to animal fur or human clothing. Sonar and echolocation was inspired by bats and dolphins, who use echolocation to navigate and hunt in the dark. And I'm pretty sure the first person to think of a plane probably got the idea from a bird. The next time we see Tarzan, he has transitioned from a boy of the jungle to now the man of the jungle. The coolest things was probably watching adult Tarzan literally be a master of his domain. He quite literally figured the jungle out and made it his home. If there's anything on this list that makes us human, adapting to your own environment definitely is. You probably live in a country that used to be inhabited by jungles and swamps, and now we live in our own concrete ones. There's not too many places on this world where you can't find humans located.
He looks nothing like you.
Think about it, Tarzan fighting a leopard is the ultimate test to see if he can truly survive the jungle. What's poetic about this scene is that if he doesn't survive to protect his family, he ends up like his human family who failed to adapt to the jungle's needs. You see, other animals probably wouldn't have survived this long, but I think what makes us most special is our ability to be able to quickly think, and then also be able to use the tools around us as weapons. Tarzan yells out and let off a victory cry. It seems to be animalistic. But this is still portrayed today, just in different forms, especially with modern athletes. Celebrating after a kill or a big victory promotes social bonding and expression. To correlate this back to sports, a player might give a game ball, a jersey, or another significant item to a coach or a team leader after a major victory, and it's just a sign of respect and gratitude. Tarzan finding a gun shell is a very pivotal moment. I like to think that the gun, outside of modern medicine, is top 3 most important human creations. Not only does a gun present peak human engineering, but it also shows the potential power of a man that possesses it. We're soon introduced to Clayton, and it doesn't take too long to realize that this dude is up to no good. I mean, who just goes around in a jungle blasting shots?
But my father and I came on this expedition to study gorillas, and I believe your shooting might be scaring them off.
The next time we see Jane, she's getting rescued by Tarzan because she set off a pack of baboons. After he saved her, she tries her hardest to get away from him. I mean, honestly, a flying monkey man in the jungle probably would have scared me too. But he ended up saving her again, and this time we see Tarzan at his most intrigued.
Oh, don't come any closer. Please, don't. What are you doing? Get off!
In person, this can come off as creepy and unsettling, but I generally think Tarzan meant no harm in this. Could you imagine going your whole entire life not seeing anyone like you, and the day that they do appear, this would probably be how you would act. When he reaches for her hand, he enacts a similar motion that he tried to do with his mother. And I guess this is the only way he can actually confirm if she's like him or not. The final test was to listen to her heartbeat, and this was another thing his mom told him makes people the same.
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
One thing Tarzan quickly adapts with is his language. As Cece, this might be another way to communicate in the jungle, just like how swinging on a vine is. He truly doesn't understand what it really means to have a conversation, but at least he's trying.
Tarzan.
Clayton!
Next time we see Tarzan and Jane, he's dropping her off back at her camp. They're soonly interrupted by the gorillas making a ruckus, but Jane is fascinated because that's the reason she came to Africa.
He's one of them. Oh my...
Also, if anybody was curious, what Jane does by getting on the floor and graveling is a good way to actually survive a gorilla attack, because the way to live is to show that you're not a dominant threat to them or challenge them.
Why are you threatened by anyone different from you? Protect this family and stay away from them.
Generally can't even be mad at Tarzan, because anyone in this situation would be intrigued also, and that little stint with Kerchak does not stop him at all.
I didn't imagine him. Tarzan is...
Clayton.
Have we met?
I'm pretty sure this will freak anyone out, but this specifically freaks Clayton out because how does he know him? And that's because Tarzan basically recognized the sound of a gunshot to be related to him.
Moves like an ape but looks like a man. He could be the missing link.
Or our link to the gorillas.
We have a natural opportunist mindset. Even though Jane and her father want to study the gorillas for good, Clayton on the other hand wants to lie and manipulate so he could sell the gorillas in the future.
Certainly teach this savage a thing or two. Gorilla.
I know this is just a small detail, but the way Clayton depicts the gorillas on the canvas is very frightening. Naturally, gorillas are very shy and timid creatures, but he addresses and draws them as savages. I remember stating earlier in the video how humans fear of the unknown, how we easily misunderstand animals. One good example of this is when the movie Jaws came out. The movie tainted sharks' reputation so bad it sparked a national fear around them, even though you're more likely to die from a dog or a cow attack. They then begin to show Tarzan all the natural wonders and creations of human civilization, which was really done beautifully. I also must mention Phil Collins' song Stranger Like Me that's in the background really brings out this moment. The musical genius from these songs really try to embody what it means to be human, even just looking at some of the title names like Son of Man and Two Worlds. For all of this fun and learning, Clayton is still trying to get Tarzan to show him where the gorillas are, all while Jane and Tarzan are slowly growing closer.
Will you take us to the gorillas?
He ends up saying he can't because a Kerchak will get mad. This is a really big ask for Tarzan. I mean, at the end of the day, they only met a couple days ago. Watching the slides, Tarzan picks up a love gesture that he wants to try on Jane. While doing this, he realizes that their camp is getting packed up to go.
We'll have come all this way for nothing.
I'm sorry, Miss Porter, but I simply can't do it.
Impossible. Tarzan.
You see, Tarzan is still not fully understanding the size of the world. He's a little bit confused about the whole entire process.
Go see England today, come home tomorrow. Not come back.
Oh, no. I know it sounds awful, but you belong with us. With people.
Jane must stay with Tarzan.
Tarzan wants Jane to stay, but this is a lot to ask. And in the moment, Clayton sees this as a good opportunity to manipulate Tarzan.
There are no trails through a woman's heart. She's so disappointed, crushed really.
Jane sees gorillas. She stays?
Say, that's why she came, isn't it?
You see, since humans are naturally social creatures, using love and loneliness as a manipulation tactic was definitely going to work. This is probably the only time Tarzan has ever felt this way, and not to mention potentially losing the only connection to his human side if they leave. Tarzan does what he thinks is best. He brings them to the gorillas. And surprisingly, the first gorilla that they show is his mother. This speaks to the volume of trust that Tarzan actually has for these people.
I don't know, Daddy.
She leaves from my understanding not because of being frightened, but rather scared to lose her son. Other gorillas decide to come out and Jane and her father are utterly fascinated, as now they get to do what they came here for, which was to study gorillas. Clayton, on the other hand, is marking down the territory for treacherous reasons.
Daddy.
Kerchak is genuinely furious because why wouldn't he be? And this all stems from him thinking Tarzan isn't keeping his people safe. So to protect Jane, he ends up wrestling with Kerchak.
Jack, I didn't... I'm sorry,
I asked you to protect our family. And you betrayed us all.
These new emotions Tarzan is feeling is now sparking an identity crisis within himself, so he decides to just leave. These next few scenes are the most powerful of the movie.
I'm so confused.
Come with me.
She takes him back to where she found him. In the process, Tarzan gets a glimpse of what his life could have been, who his actual parents were. Tarzan then proceeds to step out in his dad's suit. I assume this is how Tarzan views how a man should carry himself based off the depictions he's seen.
No matter where I go,
You will always be my mother.
The next time we see Tarzan, he's getting ready to hop on the boat to say goodbye to his former life. This was until he was met with the ultimate betrayal.
Why?
Why? For 300 pounds sterling a head. Actually, I have you to thank, my boy.
At this point, Clayton has maximized what it truly means to be human also. Greed and cruelness. Clayton doesn't see the value from learning and studying from the gorillas, he sees the value in what he can sell. It's funny how this movie takes place in Africa in the 1800s, where slavery, at least in the United States, was still prevalent. If you know anything about the continent of Africa, it's one of the most exploited places in the world, even today, where you still have kids working in cobalt mines for the devices you use to watch this video now.
Clayton betrayed us all. I'm so sorry, Tarzan.
No, I did this. I betrayed my family. Kerchak was right.
Tarzan's friends end up coming to the rescue to save him, but on the other hand, the gorillas are being wrangled up. I wanted to take this moment to talk about human poaching. Since majority of people don't need to hunt anymore to survive, some people still have this instinctual need to hunt, either for survival or self-pleasure. Initially, I don't see a problem hunting invasive species or even limiting population control, but hunting to the point of extinction and for a cool Facebook picture seems to be humanity's biggest trend now. In the last 500 years alone, human activity has caused 869 species to go extinct and has endangered at least 15,000 animals, plants, and insects. This is Tarzan's final challenge to what really makes him a man. I think that's simply just doing the right thing.
I think this one will be better off stuffed.
When Clayton finally gets the chance to kill Kerchak, he doesn't hesitate. I think this is a good moment to show how resilient Tarzan actually is. Kerchak basically being his father figure, anybody in their right mind would be angry and furious at this situation. Who knows, some people could have the intent to kill.
Are we?
Clayton, you...
I can use a challenge, because after I get rid of you, rounding up your little ape family will be all too easy!
During the crazy fight with Clayton, he ends up dropping his gun. What Tarzan ends up doing proves the ultimate message.
Go ahead, shoot me. Be a man.
Not a man like you!
You see, Tarzan breaking the gun was the ultimate power move. During that moment, it may not look like it, but Tarzan chose his humanity. And it also shows how each man is different and hold different values to their heart. As Clayton wants to fight dirty, Tarzan will rather fight with his hands. These next few moments definitely show who Tarzan really is. Even when Clayton was about to end his own life, Tarzan still reaches out to try to help him, showing that human need for compassion. Clayton being the stubborn person he is, he can't realize this until it's too late, leading to his own demise.
Wait, don't!
After the fight, you can see Clayton's lifeless body hanging from a tree. I'm pretty sure they removed this so you can't see this on Disney Plus or any other sites, but I was able to find the original version.
Forgive me for not understanding that you have always been one of us.
Tarzan, now given the responsibility to look after his family, highlights once again the importance of the family dynamic. In the end, Jane and Tarzan begin to say their goodbyes, and as Tarzan has to take care of his family, Jane has to go back to civilization.
Well, I suppose we should say goodbye.
It was a heartfelt moment. One lived shortly because Jane and her father ended up staying. In the end, we finally understand Tarzan's victory of knowing who he is as a person now. And the way that we know that is the victory scream he gives at the end of the movie. So much fun rewatching this movie recently because I didn't realize how deep it was when I seen it as a child. I genuinely think what ties this movie in together is that the fact that he was raised by gorillas. When you take a second to think about it, even though we're pretty detached from nature a little bit, we still have animalistic tendencies that we like to face. Like many animals, humans are very territorial. It's a reason why your neighbor has a big fence up or your country might have a borderline. We have a lot of instinctual reactions, like the fight or flight response. This has evolved from a survival tactic. On the other hand, humans still behave in a pack behavior system. This going back to being socially dynamic, even when it comes to just children playing. A lot of animals do this because this is a good way to express yourself, but also learn how to survive in the world from older ones. If you haven't watched this movie in a while, I definitely say give it a rewatch. With that all being said, I want to thank you for watching the video and also thank you for 4,000 subscribers. If it's any advice I can give you, choose to be human. And what I'm saying is basically respect other people's cultures, respect the environment, and finally respect your own morals. This has been Media Munchies. Peace.